Welcome back to Megan Flips It DIY. Currently behind me is the situation that is my craft room. So today I'm focusing this video on my craft room closet. I have done a few things since we bought the house. Before we moved in, I put 2 floors in 2 of the bedrooms upstairs, and I've redone the linen closet, the hall closet, and both bedroom closets. So I'm going to focus these videos on getting my craft room closet all fixed up and ready to go. If you like the content you see in this video, click the like button, hit subscribe, and when the drop down menu appears, click the bell so that you receive all notifications of any time I upload a video. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with removing the doorknob from the closet door. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the closet door or take it off and leave the closet open. So until I decide, I'm going to put a coat of paint on it to cover up the peace sign, the marker sign, and all the little drawings and doodles that are all over the door. I've already scrubbed with soapy water the walls in the closet. Right now I'm taking my cedar spin mop and a bucket of hot water and wiping off all the walls in case any soap was left. And then I'm going to go in with my cedar broom. We're going to sweep up all the dust and dirt and particles that were left on the floor. And then whenever we're all done sweeping up, I'm coming back in with my cedar mop, and I'm gonna mop up whatever dust or dirt might have been left that I was unable to get with my broom. Once I'm done there, I have this corner edger. I picked it up at Menards. I'm not entirely sure of how much it cost, but I believe I loaded it twice, and I was able to do every corner in my closet. And then I was able to just grab my Dollar Tree roller and paint pan, and I rolled all of the walls. I don't remember if I get the door in this shot, but whenever I'm done with the walls, I'm going to roller the floor, get a nice clean slate for when I put down the flooring, which are these self-adhesive tiles. These ones are the ones that are currently in my craft room left by the previous owner. So it's nice that I'm going to have matching floor into my closet. I start by laying out my floor tiles to make sure that I have enough and see which ones I'm going to have to cut. And once I'm done, I start pulling off the backing of the floor tiles and laying them down. This goes pretty quick, and whenever I'm done, I'll show you a quick view and the current situation that my craft room is in at the time I film this video. This will be a view from my closet. This is my craft room and its current situation. Here we are, a new day in my closet, in my craft room. So I had wanted to make plans to utilize my closet for more than just a closet. So I didn't want that bar going straight across with the shelf across the top. What I would like to have done is I have this whole section over here I wanted to put shelving. I wanted to do it on a budget. Then over here I wanted to put something, and then maybe like a hanging shoe rack or something that I could stick crafts or projects into for organizing. I wanted to get a closet organizer, the wire closet organizers like we had gotten up in our bedroom closet, which still is not done yet. I don't have any video of us installing our closet organizer, but I do have plans to put barn doors so they slide this way instead of bifolding into our room because our bedroom's not that big. So grocery shopping yesterday, In Ohio, we have a store called Mark's. I found an amazing deal. I gotta bring this up. On a Rubbermaid Fast Track closet. Guys, look at what I paid. I paid $14.99 for the whole Fast Track closet, which is going to go over there for storage. Now, retail, and I pulled this up on my for retail, I'm gonna try to get that light off there. At Wayfair, there are $151.33. Target, $164.99. Same price at Walmart. Same price at Newegg.com. Overstock has them for $156. eBay selling them for $164. So I got a major deal on my shelves. Hindsight, I should have grabbed like 2 or 3 of them. Now for this section here, I have yet another pegboard, which I know you didn't see me hang up my pegboards that I have behind my craft table, but I have this pegboard from when I sold jewelry on Facebook, and I'm going to mount this here to hang crafts off of. And then, like I said, maybe get like a shoe rack that I can hang off that wall and utilize that space. And then I always have room on the floor to stack totes or boxes if I need to. But all right, let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the closet rod brackets, and then I'm going to remove the 1x3 board that is nailed to the wall. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible because I do not want to put a hole in the wall, and I'm not entirely sure where the studs are. So I'm just applying a little bit of pressure in the areas where the nails have been nailed into the 1x3 to fasten it to the wall. On this side I get lucky, on the next side of the closet not so much. Once this comes off, I use my small pry bar that I'm using to get the 1x3 board off the wall, and I use that to remove the nails left in the wall. Here's the second side. You will see in a couple seconds the 1x3 is off, and there's my hole. I use Ace Hardware Spackling. I use my Ace Hardware Spackling knife, and I had on hand drywall tape. So that is what I'm going to use to patch this lovely little hole I have here. This is a closet. This is not a main wall, so nothing's going to be hung here. So I'm just covering it up, and I just want it to look smooth and blend in with the rest of the wall. I've learned to drywall by asking questions to contracting friends and friends who do drywalling as a side job, and I've used their tips to get drywalling to work for me. So my understanding is there's a real no wrong or right way as long as you get a smooth wall in the end. So I am taking a adequate amount, not too much and not too little. I place my drywall tape on and squeegee the mud out from underneath of it, and it acts like an adhesive kind of, so it will adhere the drywall tape to the wall. Now what I'm doing is taking my spackling knife and filling in the nail holes that were in the wall and trying to clean up any divots that might be in the wall as well, and make sure that the paper is laying flat. If there's any buckling in that paper, the buckling will show through, and that is a cutout with a razor blade. You cut out the buckle area and then you fix it however it needs fixed. If it's over the hole, I add another piece of paper, or if it's not over the hole, I just mud over it. On the other side of the wall, I only have the nail holes and the crack here in the corner. So I'm just going to fill all that in and let all that set up to dry. About 3 to 4 hours, I think I let it sit to dry. So once it's set up and dried a little bit, I'm going back in with my wall spackling, and I'm doing a smooth overcoat is what I like to call it. I don't know if that's the exact term, but basically I'm just trying to get a nice smooth coat of the spackling on the wall so that later when I come in, I can just clean it up. It's not a huge mess, and it's a quicker cleanup, I guess, if you do the thin coats as you go. So where the drywall tape is, you don't want to mess around too much. You don't want the new spackling to hydrate that piece of tape and mud or whatever, and then it'll pull off and then you're back to square one. I do the same thing on the other side with the nail holes. Then I take this Dollar Tree car wash sponge and the Dollar Tree self-healing mat. And at this point I used my rotary cutter because I couldn't find anything else at the time to cut with. And I cut a chunk of this sponge off. I take this sponge and I get it damp, not wet or dripping wet, just damp. And I wipe over the surface of where I put the spackling. And with a little bit of pressure, I can take my spackling knife over all of the bumps and the lines and any imperfections in the drywall mud, and it comes off real easy. And it makes cleanup a breeze. It's not all dusty. But right here, you see I pressed a little too hard and took a chunk out where the hole is. So not a big deal. Once I'm done scraping it, I'm going to wipe it with the dampened sponge again, smooth out the lines, blend in what I need to blend in, and then come back in once that's dried up and put another thin coat of the spackling, wall spackling on. And I just do a nice thin coat because in the end, all I want to do is use that damp sponge to blend it out to the rest of the wall. It looks worse than it actually was, but I did take a decent chunk out of where that hole was. So once I clean up this side, I do the same thing to the other side and get it nice and smooth. Then I take this little bit of primer that I have left. I'm not even sure what primer it is. And I go over all of the drywall spackling just to kind of seal it in so that when I come in with my paint color, it doesn't soak into the drywall spackling and look very noticeable. So using it, the Dollar Tree sponge brushes, I am applying it. You can't see this on camera, but there are a couple lines in the primer and I didn't want those to show up in the paint. So right here I use the side of that foam paintbrush and smooth out any paint lines And I do that to both sides as well. When all of that is dry, I go in with the paint color that I used in the closet, and I'm just blending out that area that we just took care of with the spackling and the paint primer. Once both sides are complete, and make sure you get into those corners too. We're going to let that dry. This paint's pretty good. I think I had a little heater running. I think that the paint on the walls was dry enough to touch within 30 minutes. So I don't have camera footage, but I did come in and mark where I wanted to hang the mounting bars from the closet kit that I bought. I first drill with a drill bit smaller than the screw that comes in that pack, a pilot hole, just because I don't want a bigger issue behind the walls. So I use the drill bit, I make a pilot hole, and then I bring in my level to make sure that it's level with the floor. I start a pilot hole. I make sure that the pilot hole goes in a little bit deeper, and then I switch out for my, I guess it would be like my screwdriver bit, and I screw that in. And once I'm sure that the bar didn't shift or move and it's level, which you'll see, I'll bring out my level again. I go back in and I tighten the screws and make sure by pulling on it that it is secure to the wall. I do this 4 more times, or 3 more times. There's a total of 4 bars. This was one. I do it 3 more times. And you will see once I set my shelves in there, it is perfectly level, which is exactly what I'm looking for. And there is what it looks like. This was the best kit. I had to use a hacksaw to cut the shelving. Now right here, I am going to skip to the good part. So I hung up my corkboard. I'm not finished loading it. I have wood letters and wood pieces and some wired garland there, and there. I just bought more wired garland that I'm going to hang there because it's a different color than those ones. Then I picked up this shoe organizer, and it was $1.99. And inside there, I'm just putting, like down there, I have different styles of lights. I have my little paint cups for when I mix paint. Some paint supplies and my puffy paint in there, and some material. I have buttons in these 2 pouches, some vase filler, and I will fill the rest. And then I'm going to try to make my light here. I purchased all of those Christmas bulbs for a Christmas DIY. And then I just have a couple of things, some floating shelves, some lanterns. I have this box here full of wood pieces, baskets, and some other things that I picked up at a craft store that had closed, and it was the inventory left over a couple of years ago when I lived in PA. I have all my paints in here. I have paper, my paper crafting. In this basket here, I have twine and some floral foam. Down here in this gray tote, I have a couple craft things. I can't even remember what I put in there. Some glue and just a few other things. There is my Grinch, Naughty or Nice. I think this was my second video. And it says Naughty on that side. I also have, I'm trying to hang that up there. Down here you see the Set it there for now. Stuffed animals, what I do with these is I repurpose the fur and the filling. So I will rip these apart, pull out the filling, and use them for another project. This flamingo in particular, I am saving it for this, for the fur down here, because I think that would be great, a great material to use for beards on a gnome. And there's a little penguin back there I'm going to tear apart eventually. But there it is, my closet in my craft room, all finished.